The Super Cup El Clásico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. A showdown that never disappoints. And this one was absolutely electric. Let's break down one of the most anticipated matches of the year. A clash of titans that had everything. Brilliant goals, tactical masterclasses, moments of individual genius, and of course a healthy dose of controversy. This wasn't just a final, it was a statement. A statement from Real Madrid that they are, right now, the undisputed kings of Spanish football. So, where did it all unfold? It started with Real Madrid's blistering intensity. From the very first whistle, you could see their game plan. High press, quick transitions, and exploiting the space behind Barcelona's high defensive line. And it paid off. Not once, but twice, in the opening 10 minutes. Talk about a nightmare start for Barca. The first goal was a classic Real Madrid counter. A simple ball over the top from Jude Bellingham, a player who seems to have been born to play in these big games. Finds Vinicius Junior. Vini, with his lightning pace, beats the offside trap, rounds Iñaki Peña, and coolly slots it home. 7 minutes in, 1-0. You could almost feel the confidence draining from the Barcelona players. But it didn't stop there. Just 3 minutes later, it was like déjà vu. This time, it was an almost identical play down the right flank. Dani Carvajal plays a brilliant through ball to Rodrigo, who sprints into acres of space. He draws the keeper and unselfishly squares it to Vinicius, who slides in at the back post for his second. 10 minutes on the clock. 2-0 to Real Madrid. Ancelotti's plan was working to perfection. It was a tactical masterclass in punishing a high line. At this point, Barcelona looked shell-shocked. They were struggling to get a foothold in the game. Real Madrid's midfield, with Tchouaméni shielding the defense, and the relentless work rate of Valverde and Cruz, was completely dominant. Xavi's side was holding on to possession, but it was sterile. They were passing the ball around the back, unable to penetrate the disciplined white wall in front of them. But then, a glimmer of hope. Barcelona, to their credit, didn't just roll over. They started to push, they started to probe, and they finally got their reward. A cross comes in from the left. Ferland Mendy's clearance isn't the best, and the ball falls perfectly to Robert Lewandowski on the edge of the box. And what a strike. A sensational first-time volley that flies past Lunin into the back of the net. An absolute screamer out of nowhere. And just like that, it's 2-1. Game on. That goal changed the complexion of the match. Suddenly, Barcelona had belief. They had a great chance just after, when Ferran Torres hit the crossbar. It felt like the momentum was shifting. You could see the tension rising. This is what El Clásico is all about. The unpredictability, the drama. But the drama was just getting started. A few minutes after Lewandowski, Wanda goal, a long ball is played towards Vinicius Jr. in the Barcelona box. Ronald Araujo, who had been tasked with marking Vini, has his hands all over him. He pulls him back. Binigo is down, and the referee points to the spot. Penalty to Real Madrid. It was a soft penalty, you could argue, but by the letter of the law, Araujo was holding him. There was definite contact. And who steps up to take it? None other than Vinicius Jr. on a hat-trick. He sends Pina the wrong way, completes his treble inside the first half, and restores Real Madrid's 2-goal cushion. 3-1. An incredible first half of football. Vini's celebration, mimicking Cristiano Ronaldo's famous calma at the Camp Nou, was just the icing on the cake for the Madrid fans. The second half began with Barcelona needing a miracle. Xavi made some changes, bringing on João Felix, Fermin Lopez, and Lamine Yamal to try and inject some life into his team. They had more of the ball, as you'd expect, but they just couldn't break down that resolute Madrid defense, marshaled superbly by Antonio Rudiger. And then, just as Barcelona were starting to build a little pressure, Madrid hit them with the killer blow. It came from another quick attack. A cross from the left by Vinicius is poorly dealt with by Jules Koundé. His attempted clearance falls straight to Rodrigo, who makes no mistake, drilling it into the bottom corner. 4-1. That was the goal that sealed it. The game was over as a contest. To make matters worse for Barcelona, their night went from bad to disastrous. Ronald Araujo, who had already been booked for the penalty, longus in late on Vinicius, and receives his second yellow card. Red card. Barcelona were down to 10 men, and their captain for the night was heading for an early shower. It was a moment of frustration that summed up their entire evening. A really difficult night for the Uruguayan defender, who is usually so reliable. From there, Real Madrid just managed the game. They could have scored more. Bellingham had a great chance, said by Pina, and Brahim Diaz also went close. They were toying with Barcelona at times, passing the ball with a swagger and confidence that spoke volumes. The final whistle was a mercy for a well-beaten Barcelona side. So what does this result mean? For Real Madrid, it's their first trophy of the season, a huge confidence boost, and a powerful message sent to all their rivals. They look like a complete team. Solid at the back, dominant in midfield, and absolutely lethal in attack. The scary thing is, they're doing this without key players like Militao and Alaba. Carlo Ancelotti has built a winning machine. Jude Bellingham has settled in seamlessly. Vinicius is back to his devastating best, and the whole squad looks hungry for more. For Barcelona, this is a massive blow. Not just losing a final, but the manner of the defeat. They were completely outplayed, outthought, and outfought. It raises serious questions about their defensive fragility and their inability to cope with top-tier oppositions. This result puts immense pressure on Xavi. The fans are getting restless, and the board will be demanding answers. They need to turn things around, and quickly, or their season could unravel. Looking at the key performers, you can't look past Vinicius Jr., a first-half hat-trick, in a final against your biggest rivals. It doesn't get much better than that. He was unplayable. His pace, his dribbling, his finishing. It was a complete performance. He was the deserved man of the match. Jude Bellingham was also immense. He didn't score, but he was at the heart of everything good for Madrid. His assist for the first goal, his control in midfield, his work rate. He's a complete midfielder and a future Ballon d'Or winner. No doubt about it. On the Barcelona side, it's hard to pick out positives. Lewandowski's goal was a moment of individual brilliance, a reminder of the world-class striker he is. But overall, it was a collective failure. The defense was all at sea, the midfield was overrun, and the attack lacked any real cutting edge. This El Clásico was a story of two clubs on very different trajectories right now. Real Madrid are flying high, a well-oiled machine filled with world-class talent and a winning mentality. Barcelona, on the other hand, looked like a team in crisis, searching for an identity and struggling to keep pace. It was a final that will be remembered for Vinicius Jr.'s masterclass in Real Madrid's utter dominance. A tough pill to swallow for Barca fans, but a night of pure joy. For everyone associated with Real Madrid, what did you think of the match? Who were your standout players? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more football analysis. See you in the next one.